Hello and welcome to this intro slash first episode of what will hopefully be a long-term career on this YouTube save. I will switch over to the Football Manager 2023 tab now. Here we go. You can already see what we're going to do here, but I will start it as a new game. This is based off the one that I've created here, which introduces the Canary Islands as a separate entity to Spain themselves. Over San Marino. San Marino has been taken over by Italy. So any San Mari's players, managers, coaches, anything like that are now classed as Italian. And anybody who was born on the Canary Islands or in the region tagged Canaries in the back end of Football Manager is now has their nationality put as the Canary Islands. So I'm going to introduce that as well as this, which is the Spain Division 6 database by @Timo @. So thank you to him for making that on the Steam store or the Steam Workshop. So if I create this database, we will use we'll probably keep England, France, add in the Canary Islands. Let's put Germany in there as well, and of course Spain. That sounds good. We want Spain to go down as low as possible so we can get as many players as possible. I will disable the use of the in-game editor. I will add key staff and players to playable teams. I have tested this in the past, and unless you add those key staff and players, the lower reaches of the Spanish division get really, really unpopulated really quickly. First window transfer activity we will have on because in the league that Lanzarote are in, which is the team we're going to take over as well as the Canary Islands national team, there are not really any transfer windows. You can sign players at any time. I think it's just a registration window essentially, but with the squad that you will see in a second, we can see that that is quite necessary really. Let's start I think it's Tessera, so we'll start early preseason. Start game. Okay, so while we're here, I have moved players over from Spain who were born in the Canary Islands. The defence is terrible for the Canary Islands national team. I think there might be one defender who plays in the top two divisions in Spain. However, they have a couple of really good players moving forward. They have Pedri in the centre of midfield. They have Roque Mesa in the centre of midfield. And they have somebody out on the wide left who I can't remember, and Pedro, the ex-Barcelona winger, is there. Up front, we have Sandro Ramirez, who famously went, I think, 3 years without scoring for Everton. And Ayoze Perez as well is there. But defensively and in goal, there is nothing. I think the plan for this save will be to take Lanzarote where we can take them. They are the probably third highest or tied third highest Canary Islands team. You have Las Palmas, who are either in the I think they're either in the second division or are in the third division, looking like they're going to go up in the first season. And Tenerife are around there as well. I think Tenerife might already be in the second division. And then you have Lanzarote, which are in the Tercera division, which is the third division in Spain. However, the second league is called the first division, so they're effectively in the fourth division. They are a semi-pro team. They have a capacity of like 1,500 at their stadium. It's all quite small. They have a couple of really good players in the squad itself. We'll get to them in a second. But I think the idea will be to try and grow Lanzarote where we can. Include maybe helping Las Palmas and Tenerife if we can get to the upper echelons of the Spanish leagues. Let's say top division European places, maybe top 10. We can siphon off a little bit of our cash to try and help them out, to try and get them up as well. And then basically pump a lot of cash into the youth system, try and get some more Canarian players coming through. There is also a Canary Islands Premier League, which is, I think it's 9 or 10 teams. I can't remember. I think it's 10 teams that are just teams that were not good enough for Spain's Division 6. So they will have no good youth systems. They will have no good players. In fact, I think they start with 0 players, which is why add players to playable teams matters. But from there, we can hopefully build some sort of Canarian national team. The Canarian Premier League, every team gets £500,000 per year in TV revenue from that. So just a little bit of money to pump into them to try and get somewhere with it. I haven't messed with anything in the Spanish tiers. Everything that was designed in the Spanish tiers by @Timo@, everything is still there. I will also put this up on the Canary Islands database. I will put that up on the Steam workshop as well. It'll probably be called Canary Islands. If you want to download it there, you can download it there. But yeah, I think the premise of the save should be to try and do what we can with Lanzarote, not win La Liga with Lanzarote. I think that could take. It's probably going to take upwards of 10 years to get to the top division. I think the ultimate goal for this should be getting the Canary Islands national team to qualify for a major tournament. I ran 3 seasons forward in a test for this just to make sure that European qualification places were accepting Canarian-based teams in the Spanish leagues. All works fine. The Canary Islands Premier League gets 1 Champions League first, very, very early preliminary rounds space, and 2, I believe, for the Europa Conference League. So 3 out of the 10 teams, I think, qualify for Europe every year. We will use this profile, which has Sunday League experience and no managerial qualifications. And we shall use... this has changed back to Samaronese. So I will need to change the back-end scripting. However, it'll all be fine. It'll still run the same. If we go to Spain, Tercera Federación, and it is Group 12. So as you can see there, we've got Segundo Federación, Primera Federación, La Liga 2, and then La Liga. So we are in the 5th division of Spanish football. Group 12, and choose Lanzarote. And then in terms of the national team, we will be using the Canary Islands. Managerial style, tactician, Sunday League footballer, no coaching badges. Confirm and start playing. Tompkins confirmed as Lanzarote new manager. We will check out the staff in a sec. Here is the initial team. I recognise a few of these players. We'll go through them in a sec as well. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team. That is a hope from other academies as they start producing players. We'll also be taking players on loan from Tenerife and Las Palmas if we can get them. We aren't going to concentrate on primarily signing Canary Island players because I don't think we'll really get anywhere with it. There is a group of about 6 that are too good for us, and then however many you like that are at our level. So there isn't really a gap in the middle there that we can fill in. They want us to record a top half finish. I'll be trying to get up in the first season. And get the better of O Maritimo, which are the rivals. Yes, and every month. And then the Canary Islands. Next. We are currently ranked 210th in the world, which is, I believe, the lowest you can go. And this is the initial squad. We'll come back onto them in a second. Yes, we'll do a press conference. I will save over the previous save. As I said, I just Haven't played that one at all. I just fast forwarded 3 years to make sure that everything worked. In those 3 years, we of course had the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Lanzarote finished, I think there's 53 nations in it. Lanzarote finished 48th out of those 53. They picked up 1 point. And that 1 point was a 0-0 draw to Albania. Just to give you a quick view on the sort of challenge that we are facing currently. I'll do all of this stuff off screen. I will mostly be playing this on a Steam Deck, so I will probably come back and update maybe around January time, introduce some new signings, introduce where we are in the league halfway through the season, any interesting fixtures we've had in international duty, anything like that. So I'll probably come back January, around that sort of middle of the season time, and then again at the end of the season, see where we are, see what we need to do, maybe do some scouting on screen, something like that. However, if we look at the initial squad for Lanzarote, we have a couple of players here who are... I've played Lanzarote in previous years, and there are a couple of players who are generally quite good. Let me get into it in reports. Here we go. So we have Gonzalo Dorenzo, who is incredible for this level. Really, really fantastic. We have Ratinho, who is, again, very, very good for this level. Still quite young. If we can get professional in the first couple of years somehow and hold on to... Oh, he's on loan. But if we can get professional in the first couple of years and hold on to a couple of these players, let's say Kevin Lemez, we could probably sell them for something that would get us 5 players at this level. Ale Martin is normally quite reliable in goal. I think Javi Martin as well is normally quite a creative little player to have in the middle. In terms of signings, I seem to remember Lanzarote being quite light on centre-backs. Yeah, we've got 2 there, Raul Fernandez and Agoné. And I think just bulking out the squad for the first season. As I say, we are, I believe, semi-professional. Let's find out. Yeah, semi-professional. So let's just see what we can do. Basically, the first season, the hope is to go up. After that, see what we can do. If we switch over to the Canary Islands now, we can see the squad. So there are some, as I've said, fantastic players here. We have Pedri, Yeremy Pino for out wide, Iosi Perez up front, Yese, who is Yese Rodriguez, I believe, who used to play for PSG. Yep. He's from Las Palmas himself. Pedro, out wide on the right. Javi Lopez, I believe, is the left back. Yep. We've got Omar Mascarell in the centre mid. And then after sort of Alex Suarez here, it's a lot of nothing. You got an Osasuna player here. Osasuna in La Liga Santander, which is the top division. However, he's a 33-year-old centre-back, so... He's a 33-year-old centre-back who was never capped for Spain. We have players like Jonathan Vieira, who are quite old, but still useful for a couple of years. He'll probably play centre-mid for us. And then we have players like Edgar Mendez, who plays for Necaxa in Mexico. We'll see what we can do with them. The under-21s, we have a couple of good players who can come through. Saïb Ari, I believe, is Moroccan in real life, but he was born on the Canary Islands, so we're allowed him. Alberto Molero, again, 18, contracted to Las Palmas. I think he's one of the... Las Palmas have 2 or 3 really good kids who could come up in the next couple of years. Alberto Molero... I think Alex Suarez is old. There's another one here. He has a pretty typical Spanish or Canary Islands name. Maybe he's in the youth squad to start with. No, I thought he was out on loan. Anyway, he will almost definitely come into the squad. Here we go. He might be in the backup squad. His name was like Joaquin. He's a striker. Anyway, getting distracted. We can sort of bring any of these players into the squad. Really, realistically, they will probably form the sort of backup to the main team for now. Maybe a couple of the defenders could come through. However, we need to start producing players, basically. The youth rating has been upped slightly from San Marino's. I believe San Marino's is 25. However, San Marino never really produced anyone particularly useful. So I've upped the youth rating to 60, which puts us around the same level as, I believe, Kazakhstan. Andorra, I believe, is around there. Basically, in that mix. I think Gibraltar's is 50 or 55. So we are slightly better than them, but not as good as countries where the players are playing in the Premier League or La Liga, place like that. The only other thing I would like to show you now is the, if we go into Canary Islands, the Canarian Premier League, as it should be called. These are teams who, I don't know if they were extinct in real life or if they, I know Universidad Las Palmas was extinct. I've brought them back. I don't know in terms of, let's say, Unión Antigua, what happened with them in real life. They were registered as being part of the Canary Islands. Part of the teams in the Canary Islands. However, not having division assigned to them. Because there were 10 of them, I decided to take those 10, put them in a league of their own, because it makes it a lot easier to create nation rules for the national team itself if you have a division within that nation. So we have this nation. I mean, I have made all of the teams professional, and they also get £50,000 per year TV money. Whether they can do anything with that is yet to be seen. In the 3-year simulation, they didn't. They got knocked out of every first round in Europe that they could. I think Universidad Las Palmas won the league all 3 years. Went into the first initial sort of knockout qualifier round of the Champions League. First preliminary round of the Champions League. And then got knocked straight out of there. Went into one for the Europa League. Got knocked straight out of there. And then went into one for the Conference Europa Conference League. Got knocked straight out of there. So that is the plan. There is one more Canary Islands player. It is David Silva. Who has retired internationally. I've not brought him back. However, we can ask him, see if he will. As you can see, the editor is grayed out, so there won't be any editing in this game. The other thing I will do is we have Las Palmas, who are in La Liga Smartbank, so the second division in Spain, as are Tenerife. So we have a couple of Canary Islands teams that are slightly higher up than ourselves. If we go to the division below, I can't see if any of these are Canary Islands based. I don't think they are. So I think we might be the sort of third or fourth highest Canary Island team. So really, with a human manager, it's probably on us to try and boost our youth system, which I think Lanzarote's youth system is terrible. Let's see if we can find that out. Lanzarote should be here somewhere, shouldn't it? Facilities, here we go. Adequate corporate, adequate training, below average youth facilities, and then average youth academy coaching. Fairly basic youth recruitment. So all of those things need to change, basically. The idea is get professional as soon as possible, which will hopefully be, I would guess, 2 promotions we could probably push to be professional. Start making money, whether we are selling youth, buying low and selling high, like a sort of Moneyball strategy, anything like that. Make money, upgrade the youth, and then use that youth in the national team. So the nice thing about this save is that I don't have to try and sign Canarian players as Lanzarote. It would be nice, but we will sign the best player no matter what. If we are able to sign Canarian players, we will. It doesn't matter if we do or don't. If we get a big offer in for a Canarian youth player who is good but not great, we can look to sell him. We don't need to win the league with Canarian players, anything like that. So we can produce some youth players and then sell them onto teams with good training facilities. Let's say if Barcelona wanted to buy one of our youth academy players in 10 years' time, it might be more beneficial for us to sell them than to keep them, because while we can carry on playing them, sort of improve them in that way, we will not have the training facilities that they would get at Barcelona. So in terms of the national team, it might be worth us selling it. And then to try and get that national team somewhere towards a European competition. The national team at the minute is not great. However, a couple of the really, really, really good players are quite young. If we go into general info, we have Pedri and Yeremy Pino are both 19. Javi Lopez is 20. They're going to be around for 10 years, 15 years. Even somebody like Jesse Rodriguez, Omar Mascarell, they can still be here for 5 more years. So we're not going to suffer particularly in terms of having a terrible national team squad. We will have a quite bad national team squad. But I think with the look, I think there were about 45 teams, maybe. I changed from having a nation of Spain to having a nation of Canary Islands. They will hopefully produce 1 or 2 good to very good players every 2 or 3 years, and we can start rebuilding the squad with definitely at least these 3 players as sort of the backbone of the squad. Javi Lopez might end up playing centre half if he can for the national team, just so we have a little bit of something back there to keep us going. So as I said, this is hopefully the first of at least a few episodes, and see what we can do. Hopefully I can try and get I'm going to try an episode a week, maybe 2 a week to start with. See how long I can play for it on my Steam Deck, play through it, and with any luck we can carry on pushing through, get a few national qualification attempts in. Of course, next up is, I believe, the Euro 2024 qualification, and then World Cup 26, Euro 28, World Cup 30. So that would be the plan. I would hope to be qualifying for a European place, for at least Euro 32, so 10 years time. You'd have Pedri and Yeremy Pino sort of around their best, Javi Lopez as well, and hopefully in those 10 years we can push up to maybe the second division of Spain, start producing some of those talents to be able to come through and take over from some of these older players like Iosi Perez, Sandro, Roque Mesa, people like that. See what we can do, hopefully qualify for Euro 32, and then try and push that momentum in to World Cup 34. as I say, hopefully an episode a week, maybe a little bit more or less, depending on how much I can play in that week. But hopefully this is the first of a series. So it'd be nice to have you along the way. Thank you. Thanks for watching.